Well, first of all, in Louisiana, we probably have some of the most gerrymandered congressional districts in the country. We have our state is 40% minority, about 33% African American. I think we have the second highest concentration of African Americans in the entire country. But we only have one African American in Congress out of 6 in the House and 2 in the Senate. So we have 8 total represented in both houses, and only one of them is African American in a 40% minority state. Wow. That tells you how gerrymandered our districts are. As a matter of fact, Cedric Richmond is the only Black congressional member we have in Congress, and his district is drawn from the Gulf Coast through Baton Rouge. So I don't know if you've ever looked at a map of Louisiana, but it's Baton Rouge is probably, it's like I can't even compare I can't even tell you how to compare that, but it's ridiculous. Baton Rouge is almost kind of we're 100 or more miles from New Orleans. So if you take that line and draw it, it's just you have to be doing it intentionally to gerrymander it. I mean, it's just, but they cut out the vast majority of votes and gave him most of the Black vote between New Orleans and Baton Rouge, and then split the other districts up. There you go. So Cedric Richmond is District 2.
Oh my God. It looks like that's the most unnatural looking district I've ever seen. It's like, right. What the hell is that?
It's not. And District 6, that must be an old map, because District 6 has been redrawn.
Okay. I'll try and find a new one. Yeah.
Garrett Graves is District 6.
Okay.
I live in his district, congressional district. And they redrew it to make it more Republican. I think he's like R+18 or something. And I think Cedric Richmond's district is like D+25. I mean, we have one congressional district that has 21 parishes out of the 64.
Yeah.
So, they're drawn that way. So it makes it almost impossible for a Democrat to win Congress, and particularly for an African American to win Congress. Yeah. Now that
this is from 2013. Did they do it again since 13?
I think they did redraw it.
Well, it was pretty bad back in 13.
Yeah, I think it's a lot worse now.
I mean, that red district makes no sense whatsoever. That District 2?
That's Cedric Richmond's district.
Yeah. That is. Yeah. So he's the lone African American.
That's it.
They basically put all of the Black voters into one district.
Yep. Yep. Welcome to Louisiana, God. Man. But that's what they did. And there's another high concentration of African American voters in the northwest corner of the state. At the very top, the northwest corner, where Monroe, West Carroll Parish, there's a high concentration of African American voters there too. And they drew the district so that those voters their power would basically be diluted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I was asked to run against Garrett Graves for Congress back in 2016 or 2018, one of them. And I was like, no, that's not where my heart is. I really want to kind of build. I confronted Bill Cassidy in 2017, right before he voted to repeal the Affordable Care Act without a replacement. I confronted him at a town hall in Baton Rouge at a church. I did not know the cameras were there because I sat down at the very front. I wasn't even planning to go, but they were there and they were talking. It was right. Baton Rouge had experienced a catastrophic flood in 2016. I mean, almost wiped the entire city out. And I went to talk about the flooding, and I was listening to the people in the audience, and they were talking about healthcare because, Donald Trump had won, and they were all talking about repealing the Affordable Care Act. And Donald Trump had promised the American people that the Republicans would come up with something much better for cheaper. I don't know if you remember that, but anyway, so he had promised the American people that, and people were coming there to ask Bill Cassidy would he, where he stood on repealing the ACA without a replacement. And of course, that's always what he was going to do. So I confronted him. And needless to say, like
All right, hold on.
moveon.org.
Hold on, Antoine. Hold on, Antoine. I think I found what you're talking about. Is this the
There
video?
it is. That's it.
All right. Let's see. Let's watch it together. Hold on one second. Let me hit play here.
Healthcare, because they will be mostly affected or being cruel or rude for speaking out. But I'll tell you what's rude. Kicking 22 million people off their healthcare in this country who you cannot afford it. You worked at the Earl K. Long Hospital for a long time. You know what people are like at their lowest. So to step on their necks by kicking them off their healthcare at this point, that's cruel, sir. I think what you need to do as a Louisianian is go back to Washington, D.C. and stand up for the people who are here and saying, we need our health care.
Yeah.
Fired up.
Yeah, I was the last comment he took, needless to say.
Well, how did he respond? What did he say?
He didn't respond. He just dropped the mic and walked to the front. The last thing I think he said was that he was doing the best he could. He said, I'm doing the best I can. And I was fired up at that point. I said, but you lied to Jimmy Kimmel too. You told him that you would never pass anything to, I said, I told him he was a liar, and he is. I said, you said that you would never pass anything that didn't pass the Kimmel test. You never vote in favor of a bill that didn't pass the Kimmel test. Mm-hmm. You lied. You lied to Jimmy Kimmel. You lied to the people of Louisiana, and you're still lying in 2020. And that was in 2017. So I knew at that point when he voted to repeal the ACA, and then he came with the skinny repeal and the Graham Cassidy bill, which was trash. It was so horrendous that even his fellow Republicans kind of laughed it out of committee. There was no way the Graham Cassidy bill would ever see the light of day. It was terrible. He was going to take money from the federal government that paid for healthcare and give it to the states. He was going to take those block grants and give them to the states to decide how they would then allocate healthcare to their citizens. And I don't know if you've ever been to Louisiana or met some of our state reps, but in the
I've been to New Orleans, but I feel like Louisiana is way more than Bourbon Street.
Well, you probably you probably had a better chance allowing some of those bartenders on Bourbon Street to handle healthcare than the people that would have been. But at the end of the day, in the words of Ayanna Pressley, I don't trust them with a potted plant, let alone my healthcare. So it was just it was an unthinkable thing to do. And it also it would have gotten rid of coverage for pre-existing conditions and gave states the opportunity to back out of covering pre-existing conditions and just a whole lot of other things that were just terrible. So needless to say, his plan didn't get out of committee. I don't think it did. It failed as it would. And still to this day, he has no answer for healthcare. And now he's just a Trump lackey that has no spine. He's just horrible. I've challenged him to a debate on several occasions, and of course he has dodged them and would not respond. And,
it's so confounding, this healthcare debate, because I think Louisiana has a significant share of people who are struggling economically and who don't have great healthcare, and yet the state did vote for a man whose whole plan was to, dismantle the Affordable Care Act, but didn't really say what he was going to replace it with. And now we know it's nothing. Yet he still, Trump still polls pretty strong in Louisiana. What's that all about? Like, why do you think people are voting for a representative who will make their lives worse?
Well, because if I can get you to hate and fear, I can control you. I can make you do anything. Now, here's where the cognitive dissonance sets in with our voters. Mm-hmm. They voted for Trump, but they also voted for John Bell, who guaranteed that he would expand Medicaid on his first day in office, which is what he did. So, of course, the ACA provided Medicaid expansion for several states, for every state. And some of them didn't take it, but our state did. John Bell signed Medicaid expansion as soon as he got elected. Now, how do you parse that? you vote for Donald Trump, who says he's going to dismantle. He said he was going to dismantle Obamacare. He didn't say he was going to dismantle the Affordable Care Act. And then you have to then decide which is which if they're one and the same. So there are a lot of people that rejected this healthcare plan because it was, or this healthcare policy, I should say, because it said Obama's name on it. And they didn't want anything to do with Obama. But I said, well, what do you think about the ACA? Oh, that's great. We like that. So there was a lot of that. A lot of misinformation, a lot of miseducation, because how do you vote for Trump and John Bell? Yeah. Those two things just kind of don't go together. But we have a Democratic governor. But I think also people were voting on what they thought were moral issues, too. So like I said, if I can get you to hate, or if I can get you to fear, I can control you. I can make you do anything. And I think the Republican Party in general, but more so Donald Trump and his sycophants in Congress have mastered it. They've used these platforms of Fox News and Rush Limbaugh and Alex Jones and all these other platforms that they have. Even Bill Cassidy quotes Breitbart from time to time. Yeah, he goes on there and does interviews and shares their stories on his social media accounts. So they use any platform they can to spread propaganda, and they've done it masterfully. And I'm not saying Democrats don't do it, for sure they do. But what happens there in Louisiana is that the conservatives have poisoned the well. So, and people are just drinking it up, and they don't even know the well's poisoned. Yeah. They just drink it and it is what it is. So I think it's just, and a part of our campaign has been being on the ground and trying to kind of address those myths and break through this sort of this indoctrination by the political elites and the Republican Party in general. It's a hard thing to do. It's like chiseling through concrete. But, again, what is the alternative? You can put your tools down and say, hey, this is an impossibility. People can't change. People can't learn. People can't evolve. And you can walk away. Or you can say, it's worth fighting for. And my future is worth fighting for. My kids' future is worth fighting for. If I love my state, it's worth fighting for. And it might not be me or the next, but we will get through. We'll chisel through if we don't quit. And I'm just, standing here with a chisel and a hammer, and I'm going to keep going until I can't anymore.
Gang, gang, 2020. Gang, gang, 2020. Gang, gang, 2020. Gang, gang. Yang gang 2020. Yang gang 2020. Yang gang 2020. Yang gang. Yeah. Yang gang 2020. Yang gang 2020. Yang gang 2020. Yang gang. Yeah. I want 1,000 a month, 1,000 a month. I want 1,000 a month, 1,000 a month. Let's get this bread. Freedom dividend. Are all y'all paying attention? Automation gonna sweep the nation unless we get him in. Andrew Yang, 2020 freedom dividend. Yang gang, 2020. Yang gang, 2020. Yang gang, 2020. Yang gang, yeah. First we get this money, then on 420. He gonna give some high fives to some high guys. Decriminalize marijuana so we can smoke if we wanna. Down with the opioid trend, up with the mental health thing. Yeah, math, yo, it's just math. Yo, it's simple math. Yo, can you do math? Yo. Eliminate super PACs, color stars making stacks. Student loan forgiveness plan. Cops wearing cameras and climate change is real again. Science rules. Teachers bringing home some bread. Medicare for every citizen. That's nice. Andrew Yang, 2020 freedom dividend. Yang gang, 2020. Yang gang, 2020. Yang gang, 2020. Yang gang, yeah. Yang gang, 2020. Yang gang, 2020. Yang gang, 2020. Yang gang, yeah.